Ya, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Khadijah Flujumar and I'm from 3Y class. Today I'm making my task for taxation by Mr. Zulkifli Abu. Today's topic is about land and buildings task or pajak bangunan, okay? Um, wait a minute. I'm gonna share screen for the presentation. Okay, so as the owner of the land or buildings, you are probably familiar with the term pajak bumi dan bangunan. Okay, this tax must be paid annually and should be calculated according to the applicable regulations. However, the complex calculation often makes people confused and want to count it. So in this presentations, I'm maybe a little bit helping you about understanding the pajak bumi bangunan and maybe can count it yourself. But I am using a very simple example in here. So let's get started. So basically, if you have house or buildings or lands, you might have to, you should, I think, because pajak is regulations, so you should pay every year. It is an individual entity that owns rights or benefits from land and or owns, controls and or benefits from buildings. You should pay the tax every year. Okay? It should pay because you get the benefits and you control it, so you should pay the tax. And the example of land and building taxable objects is, for example, for the land, there's fields, gardens, land, courtyards, mines. You get the benefits from it, so you should pay it to the country, to the nation, to the country. And then meanwhile, building objects within land and building tasks include residential houses, business buildings, multi-story buildings, shopping centers, and etc. and etc. So you know the taxable objects of the the PBB or land and building task. But regulation, there's a law for it. There's the rates determining tax rates by the government. The tax rate for PBB is set 0.5% based on the laws mentioned in Article of Law number 12, 1985, and Law number 12 of 1994, and Government Regulation number 25 of 2002. And then in here, indicapy calculation is calculated as a percentage of actual selling price, ranging from 20%, minimum 20% to a maximum 100%. Indicapy percentages for specific objects types is determined by government regulations. And for example, 40% for plantation, mining, and forestry tax objects. So plantation, mining, and forestry tax objects get 40% of the percentages, indicapy percentages. So different percentages for residential properties based on NGOP values. So different percentages for residential properties. And here, if we want to count it, if we want to calculate it, we should know the elements of PBB calculation. Okay, so first here there's NGOP, nilai jual objek pajak. So here nilai jual objek kena pajak, nilai jual objek pajak. Okay, so the explanation of this is the sales value of taxable object, whether land and or buildings, are NJOP atau nilai jual objek pajak. Peruntukan objek pajak. The function of taxable object, whether for residential, commercial, or industrial purposes. And then the KDP, koefisien dasar pengenaan, is the value set by the government each year to determine the amount of PBB to be paid. The last one is tarif PBB. It's the percentage of NGOP to NGOP NGOP to be paid as PBB. And if you know the elements, so here's the example of PBB. Or, sorry. So let's say the example is, let's say you have house with an NGOP of 500 million rupiah. The function of the house is for residential purposes, and the KDP for this year is zero point 0.5. And how much PBB do you have to pay? In this case, you can calculate PBB using the formula. PBB equal NGOP times KDP times IPBB. The rate can vary depending on the NGOP amount. And however, for this example, let's assume the PBB rate is 0.2%. Yeah, 0.2% of NGOP. Thus, your PBB calculation will be as follows. So there's the formula. So your NGOP is 500 million times 0.5 KDP, 0 times 0.2%, tarif PBB equals 5 million per year. So you should pay for your house every year because you own it. You should pay for to the government 5 millions annually every year. So that's it. Maybe just can explain a very simple example. So that's it. I think that will be maybe helping a little bit of you guys that you watch if you watched it. So I'm gonna say thank you so much for watching and assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.